Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about modern coins from the United States, one that celebrates history, culture, and the power of words. Get ready to explore the beautiful, bold, and meaningful 2022 Maya Angelou $quarter. You might have one of these in your pocket change right now, but what if I told you that some versions of this coin are already gaining serious attention in the coin collecting world? Let's find out why this isn't just any ordinary quarter. This one might just be worth far more than 25 cents. This coin made history the moment it was released. Issued in 2022, it became the first U.S. quarter to feature a black woman, the legendary poet and civil rights activist Maya Angelou. Part of the American Women Quarters program, this series honors influential women who shaped the nation's story, and Maya Angelou was the perfect figure to launch it. Her image is powerful. On the reverse of the coin, Maya Angelou is shown with her arms uplifted, a bird in flight, and a rising sun behind her, an artistic nod to her iconic autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It's not just a coin, it's poetry in metal. Flip it over, and you'll find the obverse side has a new twist as well. Instead of the older George Washington design, this quarter features a refreshed portrait. Washington now faces right, not left, as a tribute to sculptor Laura Garden Fraser, who originally designed the image 90 years ago. This small change created a huge stir in the numismatic world. Now here's where things get really interesting. While this coin was minted in the millions, not all Maya Angelou quarters are created equal. Collectors are zeroing in on certain rare errors and variants that make this quarter much more valuable than face value. So what should you be looking for? One of the most desirable errors is the die crack error, which can appear as raised lines across Maya Angelou's arms or the sun's rays. These are minting flaws that occurred during production, unique and totally unintentional, which makes them incredibly exciting for error collectors. Another standout variety includes double dies, where the design appears slightly doubled, often visible in the text like United States of America or $quarter. Even small doubling can drive up the value, especially on uncirculated or high-grade examples, and let's not forget about condition. A coin fresh from a U.S. mint roll, shiny, untouched, and graded MS67 or higher, is already a collector's target. Those high grades can turn a common quarter into a coin worth watching. Now, let's talk numbers. What's the real value? In regular circulated condition, most Maya Angelou quarters are still worth 25 cents. But the story changes when you find a high-grade uncirculated coin, especially with a known mint error or if it has been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC.I. And the real market, a Maya Angelou quarter with a rare error or in top mint state condition has already sold at auction for up to $75. That's right, $75 for a single quarter, and collectors aren't done hunting yet. Prices are expected to grow as the American Women Quarters series gains momentum, and people realize just how meaningful and limited some of these early issues really are. So the next time you're checking your change or coin roll hunting, keep an eye out for Maya Angelou. She may be more than just a legend, she might be your lucky find. If you enjoyed this journey through history, art, and hidden treasure, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another story from the world of rare and valuable coins. Top 2, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and exciting coins in American pocket change, the 1965 United States $quarter. At first glance, this coin may not look like anything special. In fact, you probably have one lying around in your junk drawer right now. But what if I told you, this ordinary-looking coin could secretly be worth a fortune? Stay with me, because this story is packed with history, hidden secrets, and rare errors that make the 1965 quarter one of the most exciting coins for collectors in the entire modern era. Let's start with the backstory. The year 1965 was a turning point in U.S. coinage. Due to a nationwide coin shortage and rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint made a historic decision: they removed silver from the quarter. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. But starting in 1965, the mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. That means the 1965 quarter was the first U.S. quarter made without silver in over 170 years. It marked the end of an era, and the beginning of a whole new chapter in American coins. But here's where things get really interesting, because this changeover happened quickly and under pressure. A few rare mistakes slipped through the cracks. And those mistakes could make your 1965 quarter worth far more than 25 cents. One of the most famous and valuable errors is the 1965 silver quarter error. Yes, you heard that right. Even though the mint officially stopped using silver, a small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 1964 silver planchets. These silver quarters look nearly identical to regular ones, but there are ways to tell the difference. The silver error quarters have a different weight, about 6.25 grams compared to the copper-nickel version's 5.67 grams. They also lack the telltale copper-colored edge. If your 1965 quarter is missing that orange-brown edge and feels a bit heavier, you might be holding something extremely rare, but that's not all. Other collectible varieties include off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchets, each of which can add serious value to your coin. Collectors go wild for error coins like these because they represent accidents that weren't meant to happen, little minting miracles that tell a story of transition and imperfection in a time of major change. Now let's talk condition. Most 1965 quarters were heavily circulated, so finding one in high-grade, uncirculated condition, especially with full details and a strong strike, is not easy. A high-grade example certified by PCGS or NGC can already sell for much more than face value, and now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the real market value. In recent years, a verified 1965 silver quarter sold at public auction for an incredible $12,000. Yes, you heard that right, $12,000 for a coin that was supposed to be worth just 25 cents. Even rare error coins from this year, like double dies or off-center strikes in great condition, have sold for hundreds to several $1,000s, depending on the severity and clarity of the error. And if you happen to have a 1965 quarter in mint state condition, untouched by circulation, it could be worth over $100 or more, even without errors, because these are getting harder and harder to find every year. So the next time you're going through your change, pay close attention. Look at the edges. Feel the weight. Inspect the details. Because that ordinary-looking 1965 quarter might just be hiding an extraordinary secret. If you enjoyed this coin journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on your next big treasure. There's a whole world of rare coins out there, and yours might be closer than you think. Top 3, we're stepping into the late 1970s, a time of disco, big hair, and big changes in U.S. coinage. We're talking about a coin that many of us have seen or even spent without a second thought, the 1979 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it might look like just another coin from your pocket change, but don't be fooled. Some 1979 quarters are turning heads in the numismatic world, and a few of them are worth far more than 25 cents. Stick around, because what you're about to learn might just make you want to dig through your coin jar tonight. Let's start with a little background. The 1979 Washington quarter was part of the long-running series that began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1979, the Washington quarter had been struck for nearly 5 decades, but this year marked a transitional period in U.S. coin minting technology and production standards. And with change, comes opportunity for error. This coin was produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. While most 1979 quarters are common and still found in circulation, some special varieties and errors have become hot items among collectors. Now here's where it gets interesting. One of the most talked about features of the 1979 quarter is the wide rim variety, also known as the near date. On the Philadelphia minted coins, some have a noticeably wider rim that brings the date very close to the edge of the coin. This variety happened due to an early die used during minting. The difference might seem small, but for collectors, it's a big deal. The wide rim version is much scarcer than the standard narrow rim version and often commands higher prices, but that's just the beginning. there are several mint errors known from this year that have driven collectors wild. Let me tell you about a few of the most exciting ones. First up, off-center strikes. These are coins that were struck improperly and show the design shifted to one side, leaving part of the blank coin surface visible. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these can fetch high prices, especially if the date is still fully visible. Next, double die errors. These happen when the coin is struck with a die that had the design duplicated slightly out of alignment. If you spot doubling on the letters like Liberty or In God We Trust, your 1979 quarter could be worth more than just pocket change. There are also clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake during the blank cutting process. These odd-shaped quarters are rare and instantly recognizable, but remember, condition matters. A 1979 quarter that's been through the laundry 10 times isn't going to bring collector-level prices. However, a clean, well-preserved, uncirculated example, especially with a known error or variety, can be a different story. So now, let's get to the real value. In circulated condition, your average 1979 quarter is still worth around 25 cents. But coins in mint state, especially those with the wide rim variety, can sell for $25 to $100, depending on their grade. Now here's where things get exciting. A rare 1979 quarter with a major off-center strike, still showing a full date and mint mark, has sold for as much as $300 at auction. And in the world of premium-grade coins, a 1979 Philadelphia quarter, certified MS-67 by PCGS, has sold for a jaw-dropping $1,400. Yes, you heard that right. $1,400 for a coin most people wouldn't even think twice about spending on a soda. So before you toss that quarter into a vending machine or slide it into a parking meter, take a closer look. Check the rim. Check the strike. And definitely check for any unusual features that could make your everyday coin an unexpected treasure. Top 4, we're rewinding the clock and diving into a coin that might just be hiding in your loose change, but don't let its age fool you. The 1977 United States quarter dollar is more than just a piece of pocket change. It might be the sleeper coin you've been overlooking all along. That's right, what looks like an ordinary 25-cent piece could be worth way more if you know exactly what to look for. Let's get into the fascinating story behind this late 70s quarter. Minted during a time of economic ups and downs, energy crises, and cultural shifts, the 1977 quarter flew under the radar. But fast forward to today, and collectors are paying closer attention than ever, because not all 1977 quarters were created equal. This coin features the classic image of George Washington on the obverse, an American icon whose face had already appeared on the quarter since 1932. On the reverse, we see the familiar eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. Now, the 1977 quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S, though San Francisco only made proof versions for collectors. Most of these coins were made for circulation, and they've been passed from hand to hand for decades. But here's where things get interesting, because buried in the millions of standard quarters are a few rarities, errors, and high-grade gems that could be worth real money today. Let's break it down. First, condition is king. If you find a 1977 quarter that looks clean, sharp, and almost brand new, even better, uncirculated or in a coin roll, you're already ahead of the game. High-grade coins with sharp details and minimal wear are far less common than you'd think after 40-plus years in circulation, but beyond condition, the real treasure lies in error coins. Some 1977 quarters were struck off-center. These are instantly noticeable because part of the design is missing or pushed to one side. Depending on how off-center the strike is, and whether the date is still visible, these coins can command premium prices. Then there's the rare double die errors, which occur when the coin is struck with a die that's slightly misaligned or impressed twice. This can cause the lettering, like Liberty or In God We Trust, to appear doubled or blurry. These doubling errors can be subtle, so keep a magnifying glass handy. Another collector favorite is the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin's edge is literally clipped off due to a mistake in the minting process. These oddly shaped coins are rare, eye-catching, and often fetch solid prices among error collectors. Even better? Combine one of these minting mistakes with high condition, and you've got a serious collectible on your hands. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How much is a 1977 quarter actually worth today? Well, your average worn, circulated 1977 quarter is still worth face value, 25 cents. But the story changes fast when you start looking at the top of the grading scale. A 1977 quarter in uncirculated mint condition, graded MS65 or higher, can sell for $35 to $75, depending on the mint mark and quality of the strike, but it gets even better. A 1977 D quarter in MS67 condition has sold at auction for as much as $400. Yes, you heard that right, $400 for a single quarter. Now if you're lucky enough to find a rare error coin, like an off-center strike or double die, especially in mint state, you could be looking at a value of $200 to over $500, depending on the severity of the error and the buyer's interest. So next time you get a handful of change, or you're sorting through that old jar of coins at your grandparents' house, don't ignore the 1977 quarter. It might not shine like gold, but it could be a quiet little treasure waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful and exciting, go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin discoveries, and hit the notification bell so you never miss your next big find, because in the world of coin collecting, you never know which old coin might be your new lucky jackpot. Top 5, and last rare coin. We're traveling back to a year of change, controversy, and hidden treasures, 1967. Now, you might have seen a 1967 quarter in your lifetime. Maybe you've spent one at a vending machine, or it's been sitting forgotten at the bottom of your coin jar. But what if I told you that this ordinary-looking quarter could be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents? Yes, the 1967 United States quarter dollar is one of those coins that hide secrets in plain sight. It's a coin from a turbulent time, both politically and numismatically. And it's one you absolutely want to take a closer look at, because some of these coins are far from common. Let's take a moment to understand why this quarter is so special. In the mid-1960s, silver prices were soaring. By 1965, the U.S. Mint removed silver from the quarter and replaced it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. That decision marked the beginning of a new era, and coins from those early years of change, like the 1967 quarter, are now becoming a hot topic in the collector world. One key thing to note: in 1967, the U.S. Mint did not use mint marks. That's right, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, and no P for Philadelphia. It was all part of an effort to discourage coin hoarding during a national shortage. That makes identifying origin a bit trickier, but it also makes coins with special features or rare conditions even more desirable. So, what should you be looking for? Well, while most 1967 quarters were struck in massive quantities, over 1.5 billion coins, only a tiny fraction were preserved in uncirculated condition. And even fewer have survived without scratches, dings, or loss of detail. That's why high-grade specimens from this year are now commanding real money from serious collectors. But let's talk about what really gets collectors excited: errors. There are several notable error types that make the 1967 quarter stand out. One of the most sought after is the double die error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin imprints a design twice, slightly misaligned. If you spot doubling in the inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," you might be holding something truly rare. These errors are subtle, so grab a magnifier and look closely. Another favorite is the off-center strike, when the coin is misaligned during minting, resulting in part of the design being cut off. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date is still fully visible. Then we have the clipped planchet error, where a section of the coin is literally missing due to a blank cutting mistake. These odd-shaped coins are instantly noticeable and always fun to find. There are even known examples of struck-through errors, where foreign material like grease or string interfered with the minting process, leaving strange impressions on the coin's surface. And let's not forget condition. A 1967 quarter with strong luster, full details, and minimal marks, graded MS65 or higher, is highly collectible today. And it gets even better when you combine high grade with a rare error. So now, What is this coin actually worth today? Well, in heavily circulated condition, a 1967 quarter is usually still worth its face value, 25 cents. But that's just the beginning. A regular 1967 quarter in uncirculated condition, with sharp strike and no wear, can fetch $15 to $30, depending on its grade, and I appeal. If you're lucky enough to find one graded MS67, the value can jump significantly. In fact, one such coin has sold at auction for a stunning $1,500, yes, $1,500 for a single 1967 quarter in premium condition, and if you've got a genuine double die error, or a major off-center strike. Those have sold in the range of $200 to over $500, especially when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC.so. Before you toss that old coin into your change jar, stop and look closer. Check the edges, examine the design, and think twice, because your humble 1967 quarter might be far more valuable than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most underrated coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more hidden treasures, and tap the bell so you're always the first to know when we uncover the next coin that could change your life. Thanks for watching. And as always, happy collecting, and may your next quarter be the one that shines brightest.